I've had, if we counted them, probably 7 bad D'Addario strings in 30 years.
The reason we only stock D'Addario strings is because D'Addario strings are perfect.
It's nice to be able to depend on something.
All right, Tom, what's happening now, buddy? We're over here with some amps.
Yeah,
some
man,
cool
we
stuff.
got 2 of them.
Dose.
Yeah.
So in the past, I've seen you playing like oranges.
Yeah.
I think you had a satellite you mentioned.
Yep,
a satellite amp.
Satellite Atom, and I've been playing like a Blackface Deluxe Reverb reissue for a long time.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, it works so well with pedals. Yeah, so I had the orange. We reached out to Epitaph before we recorded our record, Rented Worlds, and we were like, hey, we don't have like any stuff. Can you give us some money to buy stuff?
Yeah.
And they did, and then I bought a...
Good on you, Brett.
Yeah, thanks, man. I bought an OR100 and this cab that I have. And that worked really well. We were kind of, I wasn't super focused in or synced in on tone or like how to really play to tone and stuff like that. So I was kind of just going for what I saw other bands using and what they, like the backline that they had at the fest and stuff like that. So the OR100 was great. It was way more amp than we ever needed.
It's a lot of amp.
Yeah.
Which I think those are kind of considered like a pedal platform amp, right? Like a big,
for sure.
loud, fucking clean amp.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Crank that thing, and I used both the clean and the dirty channel on that for some of the songs back in the day.
But now we're running an AC30 head.
Yeah, now I got an AC30 head. So then I switched to a Satellite Atom, which is a great amp. It has EL84s just like the Vox. We played a show at Social Distortion a long time ago, and I was like, the space theme, the like 50s retro sci-fi kind of vibe sucked me in, and the tone of the amp was incredible. Like I was playing like a Les Paul Jr. through, I believe it was a Satellite Atom, and I was like, damn, I need to get one of those.
Sounds killer.
So I got one of those, used it for years, and then we were in Europe, and like Greg mentioned before, Dave, our engineer, he has a whole backline over there that we rent from him, and he had a Vox, and I had it mixed with the Deluxe. And one day we were sound checking, and just about everybody was like, "Hey, that's the best guitar ever sounded."
Yeah.
And I was like, shit,
also,
right.
like there is something that happens between like a Marshall-y, like if you do like a Vox side and a Marshall side, sounds fucking good to me.
Totally. So
like
we consciously kind of did that.
Yeah.
Like the Marshall's a little bit dirtier, a little bit rounder in the middle, and then I picked the Deluxe mixed with the Vox, and it brings like a brighter tone that kind of sits within Greg's playing without rubbing up too much. Like it doesn't like get like share the same frequencies and all that.
Not stepping on each other too much.
Sometimes to people's chagrin if I'm like ripping way too bright, and we've got to dial it back once in a while.
Get the ice picky thing going on a little bit.
Exactly. Especially with the Telly. But yeah, the Fender Blackface, I fell in love with them. I actually have a 60s Vibrolux at my house, which is a funny story. My grandfather was electrical engineering teacher at Penn State Satellite School, and some kid in the early 80s brought in the Vibrolux, and they rehoused it and fixed it. And then the kid like dropped out and never showed up to pick it up. So he rewired it, and they used it to like call out church bingo numbers for like 30 years.
Like a PA amp.
Like a PA amp. And then I was at his house, and I was like, yo, what's the deal with that amp? And he told me the story, and I was like, that's a really good amp. And he's like, yeah, you can just have it. So that's what I keep in my house with an aux top on top to
to
play
tone it. Yeah, totally. So hey, if you are that kid that left that amp, I hope you're not watching.
Yeah, I hope you're not watching. You're probably an old man now.
Yeah, you can't have it back.
Definitely not getting it back. No way.